This is an incredible room. This is what I call the donor room. I was really hoping one day we can name it after Buzz. It hasn't quite happened yet, but I think it's still on.
Room.
Yeah, in 2 years. Yeah, what we're sitting here obviously is part of this building that we built about, what, 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago? And before I came, or before this building was up, obviously here in the high rise, that was back in 1998. That was when Pharmanex, where I was one of the co-founders, as was alluded to with Michael. No relationship, his last name was Chang, but it's not related. Actually, it's sort of interesting. His major was chemistry, and my major is biology. So I've always told chemists, you cannot do any work, as far as I'm concerned, on product development without biology. We tell them what to target, and the chemists will always tell me that you can't do anything, although you find a mechanism, but if we don't get the chemicals and identify the chemicals, there's nothing you can do on the product side. So it's a recurring argument. It's like a running battle. Anyway, so in 1995, Michael and I co-founded this company called Pharmanex out in Los Angeles, in an area called Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley. If some of you, they know. Yeah. And that's a story associated with Sherry too on that one. However, so we started the company, and all of us came out from the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah, I was working at Wyeth, and Michael was at Merck, and somehow we got together for a long time during scientific conferences and so on, and we became friends and decided in 1995 to strike out on our own and start a supplement company that is really based on science, because that's, frankly, at that time we sort of say, when we look around the supplement industry, it was all snake oil. There was very little science associated with this industry, and most of the stuff was just guesswork. You know, they go out and find some leaf, and there's a story behind it, and say, oh, that's good enough, let's put it into a product. So we thought we can do a little bit better and create a company that can stand out and be able to differentiate ourselves based on more scientific evidence, that we know that when we put something into a product, such as a dietary supplement, we know it's going to do some good, you know, reproducibly and predictably. Most of it is guesswork. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it took a lot of pharmaceutical practices insofar as manufacturing consistency, you know, standardizing our ingredients and so on, which was never been done before in the industry, and started a company called Pharmanex. So that's what we did, and sort of started to got some traction, and in fact, to the extent that about 38,000 stores around the country decided, we were a small startup, only about 35 people, and decided to take our products and put it on their shelves. Longs, Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, and all these big ones. So we became well known. So about 3 years later, at that time we were quite profitable. In fact, in order to get into those stores and to have a marketing effort, we actually raised about $48 million from venture capitalists or investors. I mean, these are investors that are really sophisticated. They know whether the business is going to succeed or not. So it's like a validation, if you will, if they're willing to give us the money. So we were good, we were profitable. And then in 1998, beginning of that year, we got a call from New Skin. And say, we'd like to visit with you. And I say, why? You know, where are you from? And never heard of you. And I say, well, we heard about your product called Cholesterol. That was one of our flagship products that was doing really well. And they wanted to license it. That was the initial idea. So they came, and I said, yeah, sure, you come on around. You know, I don't know how to get to Utah. But I think you know how to get to Los Angeles, right? So they came. And they visited with us, and we chatted. The more we talked, the more we discussed. They finally sort of came to the realization, instead of just licensing a single product, because of all our science, because of our, they realized we have created not just one product, but we have created this R&D engine, you know, this scientific engine that can actually continue to produce really more innovative products and more meaningful products in the future as well. So they saw that potential, and they said, well, rather than licensing a single product, can we talk about acquisition? So we sort of sat there and said, yeah, we can talk about it, but you know, we can be a profitable standalone. We don't really need you in that sense. Well, I didn't tell them directly in their face, but it was sort of at the back of my mind. And I sort of also at the back of my mind think, you know, really Nu Skin? Because we were in the mass market, right? So CVS and all these places. So we know that business really well. We don't know anything about network marketing. And let alone from a company that can't spell new. So it was dicey. So, but they continued the discussions, and fundamentally, we sort of got convinced that perhaps for us to go to the next level, especially internationally, I think they have enough muscle, financial muscle, to sort of take us international too. Because that costs a lot of money in terms of the distribution and so on. So we say, okay, and we talk, and finally they say, how much do you want to pay? And that's what they paid us $135 million to buy the whole company in '98. Wow. So, okay, fine. So we sold it. And then the first time, before I met Buzz, sort of the Marriott thing, subsequently had some discussions here too. And the first thing they told us that they didn't want us to do was to sell our products in those 38,000 stores. They said, you've got to recall all those products. We're not going to continue selling in that channel. I said, wow, that's a huge decision. We're profitable. I mean, it took us a lot of time and effort and money too for us to invest in the channel and build it, and we have done it, and you want to close it down now? So once again, it's one of those things at the back of my mind, not knowing anything about network marketing and so on. And it's like, this company, I think we're in trouble. They just don't know how to do business. You know, why do you close a profitable channel? Any reasonable person would be asking that, right? So Blake was the one whom you meet, I'm sure, eventually. So I said, well, I think it fundamentally comes down to a sort of commitment in Nu Skin 35 years ago. And that is that this is a company that has been built by our distributors. It is for our distributors, okay? And it has to be done with our distributors. And because of that commitment, we cannot have, no matter how profitable a channel is, that has the potential to compete with our distributors, we would be sort of not really adhering to that commitment, and we'll be telling a lie in that sense that we are really, you know, sneaking out and growing it and not really totally focused on what this company is all about, and it's because of all of you. Yeah. So once again, now I don't know anything about this network. I say whatever. I mean, business is not sort of done that way. And it's just that you have to make the company as profitable and open as many channels as possible. I mean, that's a fundamental tenet of business, but this company is weird. So, so we actually literally cost millions of dollars to recall products. We literally have to buy back the products from the store. We sold it to them, right? So we had to buy back 38,000 stores. Just think about the commitment on the end, the money invested. So we recall January was the time that we relaunched all our products in this channel through all of you at that time. At that time, I think we had about 600,000 distributors and so on. And the first month, I remember, we launched at the beginning of January, and we look at the sales on the first week of February, what we did in January, in Nu Skin channel alone. The sales figure was much larger than all the sales we did in the prior 12 months in 38,000 stores. Yeah, so and then, you know, it took it from there, and obviously we are still here today, and it continues to grow. And perhaps over the last 20 years, Buzz and I have been here for many years, and I've learned something about the business, and it still continues to be that. That commitment is pretty critical to me too. I've now totally appreciate what Blake was referring to, more than 20 years ago. Yeah, and what sort of a side story is, when the acquisition happened, and this is a lesson for all of you, you have to read the fine print. Because the fine print, which I didn't read, stated that I have to stay with the company. Because in my mind, once I sold it, I was thinking and chatting with Michael, maybe we should need to go off and do something else after we've done the sale. And maybe a period of 6 months or so, we can fly off and sort of, do and start another company perhaps or something and do something else. But the fine print did not allow it, so it's predicated on me staying for at least 5 years. I said, gosh, Utah, I knew it was weird. They still have slavery here, so. But it's turned out, it's been an incredible experience personally for me, because it's now 20 years, right? So every time I'm still here, so it's wonderful to see all of you. And it's still, this stuff we're doing, the R&D engine has grown. We're now doing a lot of social media type, related products. You have seen some of the newer products that have come out, and it's continued to churn. And we've grown. We have Lumi Spa. We have all kinds of different instant glow. I think recently was a product that we just launched. So, and this building, this was built with cash. It isn't built with a bank loan, and it's about close to what, $160 million, I think, to put this innovation center together. And have they seen some of that?
Oh, yeah.
So, what is maybe a little bit underappreciated is the fact when you look at it, you see all those fancy machines. Each one of them minimally would be around $15,000. There's a machine that might not be visible through the windows. There's probably $500,000 scientific equipment. So the point is, when we put labs in, the scientists do have access to the state-of-the-art equipment to really make sure that we also keep our commitment to make sure that what we produce in terms of products are innovative, are differentiated, and most importantly, it is safe on the supplement side. And you stick all that together, I mean, you should be able to walk out today that I think, what I want to do, I want to sleep at night, and that our products will never ever embarrass you as you grow your business, with this product, whether it's a personal care product or something. It's really, it's the best product that we can bring to all of you. So that's partly why I'm still here. And people say, is there another, we all have, what, 75 scientists, senior level scientists developing products. And sometimes you do see some companies nowadays also claiming they're science-based, but when you scratch it hard enough, it's hard to see where the science is coming from, because they really don't do it, they say it, and they don't actually, science is not a concept that you just say and it happens. Science is something that you have to do. In other words, you have to do the studies to generate the data. It's very much of a sort of an evidence-based, objective discipline. So when we say we are science-based, we're actually doing it and not really just saying it. I can say it, it's very cheap. Talk is cheap, right? So, but hopefully what you see here is a demonstration of not just saying it, but doing it. So, do you have any questions?
Joe, because first time we got most of these ladies are from Wisconsin. And I'd like you to talk about, because of the LifeGen technology, and
yes.
just how that all came about, and how, I mean, being in Wisconsin should be really proud of what this whole thing has brought to.
Yes, you should be proud. Why no cheese though?
They're all cheeseheads.
I'll tell you another story on another one that we won. So, what Buzz is talking about was a collaboration that we started, almost 10 years ago, around 2008, 2009. And that is with a biotech company that came out from UW in Madison, okay? And there were two genetics professors there who had spent a lifetime researching what happens to your body